capable of being interpreted as a partisan vindictiveness against the people of the state because of difference of opinion on national issues. The House is conscious that it has a responsibility to ensure that the affairs of the Federation are conducted in accordance with the Constitution and the law, equity and fairness, and with an overriding responsibility to deploy its constitutional powers to ensure compliance on the part of the executive. And so the House resolves to mandate the House Committee on AIDS, Loans and Debt Management to liaise with the Office of the Advisor on National Assembly Matters to the President to ascertain the veracity of the allegation and report back to the House in 14 days for further legislative action. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, let me just very quickly ask. I mean, your motion, we'll take it and then we'll put the question. But just out of curiosity, the language in your motion, you said it was for partisan considerations that Rivers State was left out. Out of the remaining 35 states, is Rivers State the only PDP state? Are there other PDP states that are part of this loan?
Can I respond?
Is Benue State that has been very critical part of this loan? Is Adamawa part of this loan? So I think it's you have a fair point. If 35 states are benefiting, except for one, you have a fair point. But to ascribe it to motives of partisanship, the facts do not bear that out, I don't think. I think you've had the benefit of looking at this, a cursory glance at the loans. Are there 35 states benefited out of 36? Before we second, I know we haven't, I just wanted to find out some basic things.
My name is James Abiodun Faleke. I represent Ikeja Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, the issue of the loan was actually referred to the chairman A's and Lows. I didn't take a proper look at the details.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
That's why I said you had a cursory look at it. But is the chairman Lows here? Safana? Okay. Let me just take a little swipe at you, Bob. Which one? Make up your mind. Do you think we should be taking loans? Because I don't know how you can on one breath go against loans and on the other breath say include us. Eh?
No, certainly not.
So when they put Rivers, if they put Rivers, will you vote against the loan?
Can I say this? This motion is premised on the assumption that this House will approve the loan request. It's a different question altogether. If I support taking loans,
Okay.
if the House, Mr. Speaker, you know how it is here.
I know how it is. Yes,
So if the House approves the loans and we don't get it, so we suffer a double jeopardy.
Okay.
Yes.
All right,
But
no
if you ask my candidate view about whether we should take loans,
Yeah.
my answer will be different from the one you have in mind, sir.
Any seconder to the Bob's before we now go into the meat of the matter? Any seconder? Honorable Luelu? Oh, okay. Yes, you wanted to make a clarification. Please go ahead.
Concern is about the rules we set for ourselves. That this matter, as far as definition of the matters of urgent public importance, this does not fall on that purview. And I just wanted to remind you and remind the House that I would rather advise him to step down his motion, bring it up tomorrow, because it completely negates what we have set for ourselves. And I think it's not intended. So this is my own candid advice.
Well, yeah, what DS is saying is something we've said over and over and over again. I'm glad that he's saying it so that it doesn't look like I'm the one that doesn't want members to bring their motions. That it does not fall under the definition of urgent public importance, which means if something is not done right now, there's a problem. This should have come on notice on the other paper, so that we'll look at it. And I did say at the beginning that I don't even know what the matter is about. Remember, Bob? I said I don't know what the issue is, but I'm relying on you that you will do that. The reason why we took it was because all other members who had informed me about motions of urgent public importance, which I told you earlier that we have about 2 or 3, and they're not. We cannot take yours, but they were not on the floor. And rather than move on, we decided to take yours in the interest of time. So it's up to you, Bob. You are being advised to step down, but it's up to you to make the decision before we second. It's an advice. Okay, so you're not withdrawing. Okay, we'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Nodi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Shimlifera constituency. I'm proudly from Delta State. I rise to second the motion moved by Honorable Bob Solomon. I so second.
Okay. Honorable Bob, okay, 30 seconds. Just your motion was comprehensive, but 30 seconds, yeah, just to lead the debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much. Distinguished colleagues, I am really happy that I was given the opportunity, at the first of asking to move this motion. We as the motion says, we profess to be in a place where we can ensure we have equity and fairness in all that we do. This motion basically seeks to underscore the importance of observing every tenet of equity and fairness. Okay, if the allegation is proven, I'm not taking it for a given that it's done or that is an allegation. So that's why I asked to interrogate it. So if it's proven that that is the case, then it's sent very bad signals. So it's for us to look at the merit of what I'm requesting the House to do, and please do whatever is necessary for us to do.
Okay, so
you don't come to a point where we have to bring motions like this anymore.
So you said it's an allegation, if proven to be true, that you are not sure. So basically what you're saying is that your motion is speculative and dilatory in nature. If you're saying you are not sure,
hold on.
You said it's just an allegation, you haven't seen it.
Can I say something? I reported, Mr. Speaker, I cited newspaper publications yesterday. I cited this day. I cited.
But you and I know that that newspapers are not today the way they're going is not reliable in terms of citing. But
yes, just investigate. That's all. Interrogate and investigate. That's all.
To investigate something that will investigate the speculation.
Nothing is taken for given. No matter what anybody brings here.
I think rather than investigate, I think your better prayer will be urging that Rivers State be included, not to investigate. What are we investigating? To urge.
I accept that, Speaker. Thank you for guidance. Thank you. So just put it.
Okay, so you move the amendment that we delete investigate and urge any seconder.
Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues.
Yes, go ahead.
Exactly, that's all. So, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, yes. So, the House resolves that Rivers State be included in the list of state beneficiaries for the loans to be.
Okay. Honorable Sada, you wanted to say something? Is there anybody who wants to speak against?
No, nothing.
All right. So, Honorable Mongono, you want to say something?
I want to speak
Okay.
against. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Honorable Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Martin Monguno, Ganze Federal Constituency of Borno State.
No.
Mr. Speaker, the whole essence of our rules of identifying motions to be on notice and motions to be not on notice to come as a matter of public importance is that there are motions that are supposed to be on notice so that members will have the benefit of having all the facts before them so that the motion cannot be expedited and will tantamount to an ambush whereby members cannot contribute on point of knowledge and strength to a given motion. For the motion instantia, Mr. Speaker, is a motion that is supposed to be on notice. We are not supposed to be taken on ambush whereby we did not have the benefit of all the facts before us. Because right now we don't know how many states, PDP states have benefited or have not benefited. We are just speculating. But if we have the motion on notice, we will be able to argue, even in his favor, that yes, Rivers is supposed to benefit. So as it is now, I am still of the opinion, I concur wholly with the position of the Deputy Speaker that this motion should be on notice. Maybe we are even going to support en masse his position. So the motion should be on notice.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and we have made and reiterated that point. And the point is very clear. You know, we cannot as a house be arguing on speculation. We can only argue based on facts. Nobody here now, I don't think anybody here can say or has a full picture to say Rivers or that 35 states are benefiting out of 36. I don't think anybody here can say that categorically because we haven't seen the details. And nobody can say that, oh, Rivers was left out. So the point is clear. The point is clear. But the prayer still covers all of that. That assuming that 35 states out of 36 are benefited, he's urging that Rivers should also be number 36. I think that Honorable Mongono and the DSC's point is very clear. We cannot be having motions like this, but be that as it may, that simple prayer that should this be true, which is not what we do here, is dilatory, but let's just put the question, single prayer, right? That if true, I want to hear the prayer very well. This prayer cannot be that River State should be included. Because what if River State was already included? How would you look as a legislator? Yeah, there is something that has already been done, should be done. No. So that is why it has to be based on the condition. If. What's your prayer? That prayer doesn't hurt anybody.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, distinguished colleagues. The House, this is the prayer. The House resolves that if River State is excluded from list of state beneficiaries from the loan, should be included.
So we put the question. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Toby. Wait, Bob. How do we move for a rescission there? Because that prayer also does not capture the point. Because what your prayer says that if Rivers is not included, it should be included. What if we find out at the end of the day that there are only 12 states and there are many other states that were not included? Then we have now singled out Rivers to be included. So your prayer, if we can move for a rescission, because we need to get this right, your prayer should be that if 35 all other states were included, the Rivers should be included. That should be the right prayer. No, we can move for a rescission right now. We move for a rescission right now. Osai, move for a rescission, please. Move for a rescission. Osai, move for rescission. Suspend our rules and move for rescission. Suspend our rules and move for rescission.
Mr. Speaker, I don't intend to suspend any rules today. I don't intend to move any suspension for any rules.
You don't intend to?
I don't intend to move any motion for suspension of any rules.
Okay, so you are not going to be speaking on the floor today. Anybody want to move for rescission? Wait now, take it stage by stage. Whip. Please, let's move for. That prayer was not quite right.
Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir. I represent Marke Momono. I hereby move for a rescission.
Thank you. Of the last decision. Honorable Kiruka. Please second. Honorable Kiruka, please second. She is. Thank you. The last resolution rescinded. We revisited it. We revisited. Honorable Bob, put your prayer again.
Okay, Mr. Speaker.
Is allowed from time to time. Is allowed.
Yes. Okay. All right, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. The House resolves that if all other states are included in the list of state beneficiaries for the loans, River states must be included.
Absolutely. Yeah, because that was the body of your prayer, that other states were not involved, were included except Rivers. So that was the body of it. So the prayer has to align with the body of the motion. So, Honorable Umokolo, please, can you help us second that prayer?
My mic is not. My mic is not. Mr. Speaker, I don't know what has become of my mic. It's not working.
It's working now. Okay, just go ahead without the mic. Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Victor Mokolo, member representing Ika Northeast, Ika South Federal Constituency of Delta State. I move to second the motion. The prayers moved earlier.
Thank you.
I so moved.
It's interesting when I said go ahead without your mic automatically came on. Those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. Wow. Okay. Honorable Toby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I come under the combined reading of Order 8, Rule 4 and 7, wherein I seek the permission of the Speaker and the House to move a matter of urgent public importance regarding the humanitarian crisis that could be occasioned by the deplorable state and position of Onitsha Owerri Road, which is currently broken down into two. Mr. Speaker, under our rules, a matter of urgent public importance could come up when, if the matter is allowed to persist and not addressed immediately, or it may cause serious damage or total destruction of federal government-owned or controlled infrastructure, a national monument, or a World Heritage Center. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I plead that I come under these rules to ask the House to hear these matters as a matter of urgent public importance by waiving our rules. I so move.
Leader, you want a second?
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Gideon Gwani. I represent Kaura Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Toby.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Toby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, this motion is being moved by about 80 of our colleagues, myself, the whip of the House, the minority leader, and then the deputy majority whip. So, Mr. Speaker, it is a matter of urgent public importance on the need to avert a humanitarian and security crisis due to the conditions of Onitsha Owerri Road, Enugu Port Harcourt, and Enugu Onitsha Federal Highways. Mr. Speaker, I had shown you a video this morning that showed where the road was completely broken. And the House, based on it, notes that a gully has suddenly emerged on the Onitsha Owerri Expressway around Orifite, Egusigo local government area, Anambra State. The House further notes that this development has cut the expressway into two parts, leading to the entrapment of fuel tanker laden with diesel in the gully. The House is aware that it took the intervention of the personnel of the Federal Road Safety Corps to ensure that the contents of the trap tanker was transloaded while the remaining portion of the road remains closed to avoid loss of lives. The House is concerned that the Onitsha Owerri Express offers a bypass to several communities in the southeast, as well as connects the southeast and south-south political zones of the country. The House is worried that the present condition of the road has made the road completely impassable, as same poses great hardship to motorists, other road users, host communities, and constitutes threat to the lives of the people, hence the need for urgent government intervention. The House further notes that several portions of the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway are failing even while the contractors are still on site. The House is worried that the rehabilitation works on the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway has been abandoned, as evident in the immense hardship being experienced by motorists and other road users in the Amasia section of the expressway. The House is concerned that the economic well-being of our people is now in serious jeopardy, which can lead to a great humanitarian and security crisis. The House is cognizant of the precarious security situation across the nation, which may present opportunity to criminal elements to take undue advantage of these situations. The House resolves and considers expedient to call on the Minister of Works and Housing to commence urgent emergency repairs of the failed portion of the Onitsha-Owerri Expressway with a view to easing hardship on motorists and Nigerians. The House should investigate the ongoing failure of strategic portions of the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway while the contractor is still carrying out rehabilitation works. The House should investigate the abandonment of the rehabilitation of Enugu-Onitsha Expressway, which has led to gory condition of Amasia section of the road, and report back to the House within 2 weeks. I so move.
Honorable Elumelu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anocho Shimlifera constituency. I'm from Delta State. I rise to second the motion moved by Honorable Tobi Okechukwu. I so second.
Honorable, no, there's no debate. It's zero infrastructure now. It's infrastructure. Honorable Toby, I think it's a default thing. You said you had about 80 co-sponsors or something like that. I've looked at all the names here. Everybody's from one particular area. I think it's just an oversight. This thing should cut across. Can I be done, please? This thing ought to cut across all sectors. I'm sure the DS will be interested in co-sponsoring with you. We apply that road. It's a national thing. It's not the East. So I was going to ask that you please include me as part of the sponsors of this. It's not an East, Southeast. So we have two lists now. You people, the list that the author of the motion gave me a list. I don't see. So this is a fake list. Do you want me to read out? Do you want me to read out the names? No, you can give it to. No, it was just something that caught my. I just caught my attention. That's all. Amendment. Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, TJ.
My dear colleagues, I'm TJ Yusuf. I represent Kababulu Jumfra constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'd earlier sent request to do a matter of national importance on the road that links Kabab to Omuwo. It's completely broken down in the past 5 days. At minimum, vehicles going to Lagos that pass through Kabab spend 6-7 hours, some spend 3 days on the road. So, Mr. Speaker, my prayer is that we should include that route rather than having multiple motion on road infrastructure. I so please, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues.
Any seconder to that amendment? Mike.
Wait now.
No, Agbedi.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. Agbedi Yetemine Frederick, PhD. I represent Sagbama Kremo Federal Constituency. Ezonkeme, I'm from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as ably moved by Honorable TJ. I so second.
Those in support of that amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Ben Roland Sigbakwa. I represent Ethiopia East and West. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, there's a proverb in my place. They say when the strong is running, the lazy man should run. Similar thing applies to the Sapele Benin Road. As it is, as I'm speaking to you, the Delta State Direct Labor Agency is doing very minimal palliative measure to ensure people can pass. The road is blocked, and there is no way from Benin to Sapele now. I want to beg that that road be added to it so that the Honorable Minister, who has graciously done a bridge for me not too long ago, should equally do the bridge so that our people can have the goodness of government. Thank you, sir.
Any seconder? Honorable Mokolo. Your mic is working now.
Honorable colleagues, my name remains Honorable Victor Wokolo, member representing Ika Northeast, Ika South Federal Constituency of Delta State. I stand to second the motion ably moved by my brother on the very terrible situation of the Warri Sapele Road. In addition to it, Mr. Speaker, allow me to move the pathetic situation, to add the pathetic situation in my federal constituency where a whole section of our people are almost separated from the local government, as threatened by the erosion. In fact, the cattle market in my place, they are finding it difficult to leave. They see their cattle from a distance, they cannot get to their shop. That shows how terrible and pathetic the situation is as of today in the Federal constituency. It is necessary for me to join this while seconding the motion of my brother so that all of them being infrastructure-related matter can be taken at once. I so second.
Those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. There's several amendments, and I believe a lot of these amendments have to do with members' constituencies. So I think it's better we have one amendment to cover, and I think Honorable Mungunu has an amendment that will cover all constituencies that are affected. Instead of, otherwise we'll be here for the next 1 hour doing amendments. Yes.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohammed Tahir Mungu. Marche Mungu, Nongaze Federal Constituency of Borno State. I hereby move that all roads across the nooks and crannies of this country that were affected, federal roads that were affected as a result of the rainy season should also be made part and parcel of this motion. I so move.
Okay. No, sorry, you're not saying anything here today. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable to the Godwin Elmelu. I represent the good people of Anyocho Shimili Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. Let me thank the Chief Whip for bringing this amendment because it includes Uromi, Ubiaja, Idumujubo, Konchubo in my federal constituency, as moved and amended by him, I so second.
It also includes Honorable Nwokolo's constituency, which he talked about, and
yes,
so many others.
And so many other constituencies.
Yes. So those in favor of the amendment has moved to cover all federal roads that have been affected by the rain, as moved by Honorable Mongunu and seconded by Honorable Lumelu. Please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. A different amendment, Honorable Bonta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Uzoma Nkeme Bonta. Mr. Speaker, my amendment goes towards that in view of the dilapidated roads and difficulties being passed by the generality of the people, that Mr. Speaker, considering particularly the Executive Order 7 by our dear President Buhari, that all such roads having persons or group of persons who are willing to do the roads under that Decree 7 be given the permission to carry forth. Mr. Speaker, we are aware that Enugu-Port Harcourt Road has been signed on by MTN under that. We're also aware that Dangote groups are doing some roads somewhere under that. We're also aware that Transcorp Group are doing some roads in Port Harcourt, Obibo, whatever, these roads. So that such corporate persons or bodies willing to do that should be given express permission under that decree to help out. Government cannot fund it all, and that's why Mr. President came with that Executive Order 7. In my constituency, there are corporate bodies willing to do the road we can pass, that they've applied for permission to, that the bottleneck from that point should be removed so they can do that speedily. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Toby, okay, Prof.
I'm Julius Ihonvere, on one federal constituency. I rise to second the motion, or is it an amendment, ably moved by my dear colleague, Honorable Abionte. Thank you. You're not Abionte.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Those in favor of the motion as amended, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honourable members, the first business of the day is presentation of 4 bills. Clerk, please read the short titles.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act Amendment Bill 2021, first reading. Criminal Code Act Amendment Bill 2021, first reading. Federal University of Agriculture Karaye Establishment Bill 2021, first reading. Federal Medical Center Rogo Establishment Bill 2021, first reading.
To include the other names. Okay, honorable colleagues, before we move on, allow me to make 2 announcements that came in late. The first one is from Honorable Agbedi Frederick. It's a letter of appreciation to the House, expressing profound appreciation to all those who contributed to, in no small measure, and also found time to pay their last respect, he says, to my mother-in-law, Madam Fanti Obulukwe, a local steamer, and her sister, Madam Tutu Jacob. He expresses his gratitude to every distinguished senator and member of the House who contributed in several ways to make the funeral a success. He says, see more detailed appreciation in Vanguard on Monday, 13th September 2021 on page 23. It is also important to notify the House that about 4 days after I bagged my Doctor of Philosophy, PhD from the University of Port Harcourt, Rivers State, specializing in developmental studies. To God be the glory for his mercies. Once again, I say a big thank you, Honorable Frederick Agbedi, PhD. Congratulations. Honorable colleagues, you will recall that some time ago we passed a bill for an act to establish the Admiralty University of Nigeria, Ibusa, as a conventional university. The matter was referred to the Committee on Tertiary Education. Please take note, Clerk, it should be Committee on Tertiary Education and Committee on Navy. Clerk. The joint committee. The second business of the day is presentation of a report of the Committee on Finance in the 2022 to 2024 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper, standing in the name of Honorable James Abiodun Faleke. Honorable members will recall that the proposal was referred to the committee on Thursday, 8 July 2021. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Faleke is invited to present the report. Thank you, Honorable Faleke. You and your committee worked throughout the recess period. Well done. So you can present your report. You bring your point of order tomorrow. Bring your point of order tomorrow. You bring it tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Ask somebody else to bring your point of order. You won't speak on the floor today. Ask somebody else to bring your point of order. No, your privilege is not. Your privilege is not. Is not guaranteed.
Mr. Speaker.
It is my privilege. It is my privilege to not allow you to raise your point of order.
Sir, be guided.
Honorable Faleke,
be guided.
go ahead.
You are be guided.
Honorable Faleke, go ahead.
Honorable Osai, be guided.
My name is James Abiodun Faleke. I represent Ikeja Federal Constituency.
Like be guided. Sorry, Honorable Osai, be guided.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Finance on the 2022-2024 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper MTF referred to us on 8th of August 2021. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I so move.
Any no, Honorable Samson.
Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Samson Oku, member representing Oju of the Federal Constituency. I'm from Benue. I rise the motion ably moved by Honorable Faleke, the Chairman, House Committee on Finance. So second.
Okay, so Honorable Faleke, please lay your report. Those in support of the report already laid. This year, those against the same way. Already laid. If you had said no, he would have withdrawn it. The ayes have it. The third business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Navy on a bill for an act to establish the National Hydrographic Agency to carry out hydrographic and oceanographic surveys, including ocean meteorology for national defense and civil requirements and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Yusuf Adamu Gagdi. Honorable members will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Thursday, 8th July 2021. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Gagdi is invited to present his report.
Speaker, Honorable members, my name is Honorable Yusuf Gagdi. I represent Panshinkanke Kanam Federal Constituency. I'm from Plateau State. I rise, Mr. Speaker, to move that the House do receive a report for the Committee on Navy on a bill for an act to establish the Hydrography Agency to carry out hydrographic and oceanographic survey, including ocean meteorography for the national defense and civil requirement, and for other related matters. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Chinyere, you want a second? You want a second there, Honorable Gagdi?
Hello? Okay. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I am Chinyere Igwe, PhD, representing the good people of Port Harcourt to Federal Constituency of Rivers State, the oil-rich treasure base of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, I stand to support the motion as heavily moved by my dear brother, Honorable Gandhi, to lead the report of the Committee on Navy. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Gagdi, please lay your report. The first order of the day is consolidation of 5 bills. Other members may wish to note that the bills are on the same subject matter. I now invite the Chairman, Committee on Rules and Business, to move that the bills be consolidated.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Asamfulata. I represent the New York Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move for the consolidation of the following 5 bills as follows. A bill for an act to amend the Tertiary Education Trust Fund Act 2011 to expressly provide that National Youth Service Corps shall benefit from the fund and for related matters, HB 863. B. A bill for an act to amend the Tertiary Education Trust Fund Act 2011 to include federal government licensed private polytechnics as beneficiaries of the fund and for related matters, HB 115. C. A bill for an act to amend the Tertiary Education Trust Fund Act number 16, 2011 to ensure that disbursement from the fund is available to monotechnics and other specialized tertiary institutions in Nigeria and for related matters, HB 1321. D. A bill for an act to amend the Tertiary Education Trust Fund Act 2011 to include federal institutes and colleges of forestry as beneficiaries of the fund and for related matters, HB 1323. E. A bill for an act to amend the Tertiary Education Trust Fund and for related matters, HB 1349. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
BYA, can you second?
My name is Honorable Bolaji Yusuf Aila, representing Mushin Constituency 2 in the Federal House of Rep. My fellow honorable member, I rise to move the motion as second. I rise to move second the motion.
All right.
Thank you.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. Committee on Rules and Business will schedule the date for commencement of debate. The second order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Petroleum Training Institute FNRO Act Cap P16, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Anthony Affair. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on 8th July 2021, and I invite Honorable Affair to move that the bill be read the second time.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I remain Honorable High Chief Ife Afe, member representing the good people of Okwe, Sapele, and Uvia Federal Constituency of Delta State, the pure Delta. Mr. Speaker, I move for a bill for an act to amend the Petroleum Training Institute, EFRUM, Act Cap P16, Law of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and for other related matters, House Bill 1508. I beg to move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ganiu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Abdulgani Johnson. I represent the good people of Oshodi Solo Federal Constituency 2 from Lagos. I rise to second the bill. For an act to amend the Petroleum Training Institute at Eforum, ably raised by my good friend, Honorable Arthur. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Afe, just so we just put the question, but tell us what you are trying to amend exactly in the Petroleum Institute Training Act. Just tell us what you are trying to amend. No need for debate.
And the act establishing it is somewhat obsolete. And with the passage of the Petroleum Act, is definitely that we need to refine it, tune it to the present reality. Because presently, the school was established to train semi and high-skilled workers for the oil industry. And that's what it has been doing. But there are certain aspects that has eluded the school, most especially certification of professionals. When they are trained and employed, the school has all the facility requirement to do certification for the industry. But they are sent out of this country, thereby depriving the university, the certification, and also depriving the country of foreign exchange. The PIB is meant for this country to generate more revenue for the development of this country. And if these amendments are effected, the school will save a lot of foreign exchange for this country.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, honorable members, the question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk, long title, please.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the Petroleum Training Institute, the Furum Act, Cap P16, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and for related matters, second reading.
The bill is referred to upstream.
Honorable Speaker, point of order.
Point of order.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohammed Tai.
Honorable.
I represent Marche Mungunongaze Federal Constituency.
Point of order.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the entire membership of the House, and more particularly on behalf of Honorable Osai, I want to plead that you rescind your earlier decision so that he can contribute on the floor of the House. He has shown enough remorse. Yes. He has shown enough remorse, Mr. Speaker.
No, what the Honorable Osai's conduct was not against me as a person, but the House and the tradition of the House. And Honorable Elubelu, you want to say something?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndodi Godwin Elubelu, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Shimilifera Constituency. I'm from Delta State. One, I want to commend the Chief Whip of the House for intervening in this issue. And I also totally agree with you that the issue in question was as a result of his conduct to the House. But I also know the kind of speaker you are, who is a leader that listens when there is need to listen. And having the Chief Whip made a submission that you should please pardon, the House should pardon Osai to enable him contribute and represent his people, because he's actually not here as Osai. He's here because he has the voice. He is representing his people. So him not allowed to speak is like not allowing his federal constituency to be heard. So, and I know that you're a man that listens to appeal.
Okay. Thank you. Honorable Osai is my friend and colleague, and is one of the most experienced members on the floor of this house. So yes, we won't shoot ourselves in the foot. We'll miss his contributions today. So the decision is rescinded. The third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Computer Forensics of Nigeria and for related matters. Honourable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on 6th July 2021, and I invite Honourable John Deere to move that the bill be now read a second time. Honourable John.
Right Honourable Speaker, Honourable colleagues, Dr. John J. is my name, Boko Taka Federal Constituency, Benue State. Honourable Speaker, may I move that a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Computer Forensics of Nigeria and for related matters, HB 1491, be read the second time. I so move.
Thank you. Any seconder? Honourable Osai, please second.
Thank you, the most experienced and articulate speaker of the House of Representatives. I rise in my capacity as a representative of my people, Honorable Osai Nicholas Osai, representing local Kwani Federal Constituency. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. I think we cannot understand it will be very unfair. Honorable Nwokolo, correct? It will be very unfair to have perhaps a very strong voice from a fast dwindling opposition to be missing on the floor. You know, the numbers are depleted, so we need Osai amongst many others. So Osai, welcome back to the floor. The seconded, those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Osai, do you have a point of order? I thought so too, yeah. Clerk, read the long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Computer Forensics of Nigeria and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Science and Technology. Fourth order of the day is a motion on breach of international laws by the Indonesian immigration officials against a Nigerian diplomat standing in the name of Honorable Rotimi. I don't think Honorable Rotimi is here. Chairman Business, can we step down this? Let's step down this. Honorable Rotimi is not here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Since Honorable Rotimi is not on the floor, I move that the motion be stepped down by the leader of the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Motion step down. Fifth order of the day is a motion on the need to investigate activities of the Federal Ministry of Sports and Youth Development and failed doping test by Nigeria's athletes at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. Standing in the name of Honorable Lawrence Babatunde Ayeni, Honorable Ayeni is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Lawrence Babatunde Ayeni. I represent Ilesha West, Ilesha East, Atakumosa West, Atakumosa East, Osun State. Mr. Speaker and honorable colleague, need to investigate activities of the Federal Ministry of Sports and Youth Development on failed doping test by Nigeria athletes at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. Note that Nigeria delegation to the Olympic Games
fare well in terms of performance, thereby raising the country rating in the Committee of the Nation. Recall, the outstanding performance of the Nigeria football team, which bagged the historical first soccer gold medal at the 1996 Centennial Olympic Games in Atlanta, United States of America. Further note that the incident of 20 July 2021, where the Athlete Integrity Unit of the International Association of Athletes Federation barred 10 Nigeria athletes, including the highly rated Blessing Okagbari from the Tokyo Olympics, for failing to meet requirements for out of competition drug test. Aware that the Athletes Integrity Unit alleged that Blessing Okagbari, who won the open heat of the women 100 meters, are tested positive for human growth hormone. Also, aware that the allegations further affirm that affected athletes failed to comply with the rules requiring those from countries deemed to be at high risk of doping to undergo 3 non-notice out of competition tests in a 10-month period leading up to a major event. Concerned that despite the huge funds being made available yearly for the regulatory agency in the sports sector, adequate efforts have not been made to get Nigeria into the category where they will be deemed to have made significant improvements in anti-doping tests. Result: 1. If I, the Minister of Sports, to brief the Committee on Sport on the level of Nigeria compliance with extant regulations set by International Association of Athletes Federation, IAAF, and the Independent Anti-Doping Arm, Athletic Integrity Unit. Second, urge the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development to put necessary measures in place to ensure compliance with exact regulation at both local and international competitions. Third, to mandate the Committee on Sports to investigate the immediate and remote cause of the failed doping test to federal test to forestall future occurrences. I so moved.
Any seconder, please. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Honorable Yemi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ali Adeyemi Taufik is my name. I speak for people of Moshi, one Federal constituency. I rise to second the motion as presented by my dear friend and colleague, Honorable Ayeni of Osun State. I so second. Thank you, sir.
Those in support of Honorable Ayeni's motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The sixth order of the day is a motion on need to investigate the non-takeoff of the proposed 30% coal to power electricity generation by 2030. Standing in the name of Honorable Patrick Nathan Ifon, Honorable Ifon is invited to move the motion. Where is Honorable Ifon?
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Ifon is not on the floor. I move that the motion be stepped down by the leader of the House.
Okay. Motion step down. The seventh order of the day is a motion calling for the investigation of the dilapidated state of airports in Nigeria, standing in the name of Honorable Ifeanyi Moma. Honorable Moma is invited to move the motion. He's not here. Please step down.
Honorable Momo, Mr. Speaker, is not on the floor. I move that the motion be stepped down by the leader of the House. Also move.
Okay. No, saying good yes.
Step down. The eighth order of the day is a motion on urgent call to restore electricity to Maiduguri and its environs, standing in the name of Honorable Rahis Abdul Kadir. Is Honorable Rahis here?
Honorable Speaker, my colleagues, my name is Honorable Rahis Abdul Kadir, member representing Maiduguri Federal Constituency of Borno State. The House notes that Maiduguri and its environs have been without electricity for over 9 months as a result of the destruction of the power transmission towers by Boko Haram terrorists, a development that is adversely affecting the socio-economic activities of Maiduguri residents. Worried that despite the commendable measures by the Borno State government and the appreciable efforts of the Power Holding Company of Nigeria, PHCN, Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, and the Yola Electricity Distribution Company, YEDC, are rebuilding the transmission towers, Boko Haram insurgents are unrelenting at destroying more towers. Resolved, all the Federal Ministry of Power, the Power Holding Company of Nigeria, PHCN, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, and the Yola Electricity Distribution Company, YEDC, to devise a means of restoring Maiduguri to the national grid. Also urge the federal military authorities to intensify their final push in the fight against the unrepentant elements of the Boko Haram terrorists. Mandate the Committee on Power to ensure compliance. I so move, sir. Committee of Power.
Honorable.
My chairman Committee of Power is with me, sir.
So anybody second, Honorable Rai? Okay, let's get somebody from Borno. Put on your mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Usman Zamna, representing the people of Kagagu, Bioma, Gumeri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Borno State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by Abdul Kadir Rahis on the need to store electricity in Maiduguri and environs. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so second.
Motion moved by Honorable Rahis, seconded by Honorable Zana. Infrastructure will put the question. Those in support of Honorable Rahis' motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The ninth order of the day is a motion on need to address the delay tactics by the public universities which affect the timely completion of postgraduate programs, standing in the name of Honorable Ibrahim Babajide Obanikoro. Honorable Obanikoro is invited to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, the Deputy, colleagues, Clerk of the House, pressmen, guests, I'm Representative Ibrahim Babajide Obanikoro. Mr. Speaker, I would like to step this motion down as advised by the House. Thank you.
Oh, stepping down? Okay. Matter step down. The 10th order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to amend the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria Act number 2/2019 to extend the tenure of the Resolution Cost Fund grant access to the special tribunal established by the BOFIA 2020 and confer on it the powers to take possession, manage, foreclose or sell, transfer, assign or otherwise of asset or profile used as security for eligible bank assets. And for related matters, honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Thursday, 10th June 2021. The leader will move for its consideration. Leader is not here. Is the deputy leader here? So,
Speaker, both leader and deputy are not on the floor. I move that the constitution of the vote be stepped down by the leader of the House.
Chairman Business, will it be out of place for you to take it?
Yeah, but I cannot argue
Yeah.
I cannot, I'm not,
Even if we suspend our rules, I mean, because we need to move on.
but if I can listen, I can move for his consent.
Yeah, just read it, just for.
Okay.
Yeah. So we suspend our rules and we allow the Chairman Business to take it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that the House do consider the report on a bill for an act to amend the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria Act number 2/2019 to extend the tenure of resolution cost fund grant access to the special tribunal established by the BOFIA 2022 and confer on it the powers to take possession, manage, foreclose or sell, transfer, assign or otherwise of asset or profile used as security for eligible bank assets and for related matters. 8B 1320. I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable Wokolo, can you second?
Kasafra constituency of Delta State. I do stand to second the motion for the consideration of the report as moved by the Chairman Rules and Business. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The 11th order of the day is consideration of report of the Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions on a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Agriculture and Entrepreneurship, Saki, Oyo State, and for related matters. Honorable members recall that the report was laid on Thursday, 15 July 2021. Honorable Munir Babada and Nagadi Agundi will move for its consideration. I don't think Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Munir Babada Agundi is not on the floor. I move that the consider of report on this bill be stepped down by the leader of the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
The matter is stepped down. The 12th order of the day is consideration of report of the ad hoc committee on the increasing incidence of SIM swap fraud. Honorable members will recall that the report was laid on Thursday, 23rd of July 2020. Honorable Hassan Fulatan will move for its consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata. I represent Berniwa, Krika, Sama, Guli Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do consider the report of the ad hoc committee on the increasing incidence of SIM swap fraud. I so move.
Any seconder? Mike, press your mic.
Press your mic.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am Architect Ibrahim Al-Mustafa Aliu, representing Wurno Rabah from Sokoto. I stand to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Flata. That's just comment.
Motion moved by Honorable Slaughter, seconded by Honorable Aliu. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Yeah, what's your point of order, Honorable Faleke? You're coming under privilege.
Mr. Speaker, I remain Honorable to the Godwin Edmelu, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Shimdi Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, I come under privilege on what is happening in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, if you look very round, we are surrounded by water partially because our chamber is leaking. And I'm worried that if something is not done to address it, nobody holds one's life. But we never can tell what can happen. Coming into this place, you can see the cleaners. They are busy packing the water that is coming down from this chamber. And to me, it is dangerous for our continuous participation in our day-to-day representing our people, speaking for our people, for good legislation. So I think that, Mr. Speaker, something needs to be done to address these leakages that we're having within this chamber. This is my submission.
Very important matter of privilege that affects the whole House in terms of the infrastructure here. Point of order noted. The 13th order of the day is consideration of 3 reports of the Committee on Public Petitions. Honorable Jerry Lagboso will move for the consideration. Your mic is on. Is that your mic?
Thank you, our performing speaker and colleagues. My name is Jerry Alabosa from Imo State, representing our law, also an Northeast Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, I rise in order for the House to consider a report on a petition by Kokama community, Rivers State, I also rise for the House to consider also the report on petition by Mrs. Gebe and 2 others. Mr. Speaker, I also rise to ensure that the House considers the report of petition by Peace Obialo against University of Nigeria and Soccer. Mr. Speaker, present for consideration. Thank you.
Yes. Honorable Jimo. Honorable JJ Jimo, please second.
The chairman of the petition. Thank you.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Please lay your report. Chairman Business, can you move that the House resolve to the Committee of the Whole to consider reports?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Abubakar Samfulata. I represent Berniwa Creek Assembly Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the Delta State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that the House to resolve into the Committee of the Whole to consider reports. I so move.
Honorable JJ Jimo.
I stand to second the motion as moved by the chairman of Business and Rules. Thank you.
Motion moved by the chairman of Business and Rules, seconded by Honorable JJ Jimo. Those in support, please say aye. Honorable, those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The House is hereby resolved into the Committee of the Whole.
Respected colleagues, the first bill to be considered is for an act to amend the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria Act number 2, 2019 to extend the tenure of the resolution cost fund, grant access to the special tribunal establishment by BOFIA 2020 and confer on it the powers to take possession, manage, foreclose or sell, transfer, assign or otherwise of asset or profile used as security for eligible bank assets and for later matters. And I invite the leader of the House to give us synopsis. I don't know, the leader is not around. Are you in the position to give us what is
No, Mr. Chairman, by that I will believe it's a Senate bill sent to us for concurrence. I will only plead with honorable colleagues to look through the recommendations and concur.
It's a Senate bill, I think, but we need to know what is the content. Yes, sir. Chairman Banking.
basically the content is to extend the cost revolving fund, which has expired, to enable banks contribute. So what I'm saying is that it's all about extending the life tenure of the cost revolving funds, which entails banks to be making their contributions because they have a lot of liabilities which has not been fully paid for. And without paying for the liabilities, the essence of setting up AMCON, the aim is defeated. Therefore, by extending the lifespan of the cost revolving fund, the banks will make their own contributions to enable them pay the money.
Clause 1. And by I'm referring to 34 because straight to the amended portions. Am I right? Then interpretation. Let me take again. 1 amends 34, carried. 2 here is amending 54, carried. And then 3 here is amending 45, carried. Mr. Wokolo, why is not in order of the sequence? You have 2 as 54, section 54. Then you have 3 here as section 45. I thought it should have gone sequentially in terms of chronological arrangement.
I'm sure by the time they are doing the clean copy, sir, it will be done accordingly, sir.
So that please ensure that the cleaning is done properly and
Thank you,
don't
sir.
allow us to be ridiculed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. 4 is 61, carried. Citation. Carried. Explanatory memoranda. Carried. Long title. Respected colleagues, the second bill to consider is for an act to establish a federal university of art. No, that one has been tabled as possible. Thank you. The second bill to be considered is the first report. Is that of the ad hoc committee on the increasing incidence of swing swap, fraud, and I now invite Honorable Abuka Fulata to give us the synopsis of the report. The paper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This report is centered on the investigation carried out by the ad hoc committee on SIM swap fraud. The committee met with virtually all the stakeholders, banks, telecommunication companies, and security agencies, and it's really unfortunate. Over 22 billion naira was lost to fraudsters. People's identities have been stolen by fraudsters in connivance with workers in the banks and staff of the telecommunication networks. So we are recommending, part of the we have made some 22 recommendations, part of which is that banks, in accordance with the principle of vicarious liability, should refund all those that were defrauded. It is not their fault. Customers, it's not the customer's fault that their monies were stolen by the negligence of those banks. Virtually all the banks cooperated, and all the communication companies cooperated, with the exception of Globacom. Globacom did not attempt to. In fact, they refused. They chased our courier. All attempts to invite them, they refused to attend our invitations, and they refused to participate in the investigation.
Mr. Speaker. So we have 22 recommendations there, and the findings are contained in the report, but what is contained in the order paper is just 22 recommendations. I so submit, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you for a well-done job. And then the Susan recommendations, 20 recommendations. Recommendation 1. On the recommendation, what is recommendation 1?
Yeah, the recommendation is really expressly in order, I can say in order, but why I say bet is that NCC over time have refused to sanction because they collect money for default. Now, what will now be the effect? Because recommending this one, the NCC should be able to take control of it, might not be totally proper. Because one, NCC know if they want to catch these people so that they can make sure they pay penalty. Penalty is not helping it. What if NCC refuse to act? What will the House do? Do we need to make an amendment of the law to sanction NCC or the management of NCC for not carrying out their function? I think we should be able to bring out a solution to that effect.
Maybe it should be additional recommendation.
Yeah.
But as of this one, it should stand alone because it's their own function. The act establishing NCC gives them the power to sanction any agency. So you can't take that one out without amending the act. So for now, this should stand. Maybe at the end, if we find it necessary, if you are not satisfied with the various...
And also the act should be amended.
Also, you can now ask for another measure to be taken on NCC for negligence in the event. Thank you. So recommendation 1, 2. Eight. Thirteen. 21. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, recommendation 22. I don't think we need to urge our committees. I think we just, they should not be urged. They should just step up instead of to be urged. I think because it's their responsibility, why are we urging them? I think we should just charge them with that responsibility to get these things done. The prayer 22, that committees on telecommunication and banking and currency be urged to step up. So it's like we're indicting them, actually. Yes. So I think they should step up.
Are you sure they are not culpable?
No, if you say urged, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, it's like they are not up to.
Possibly, if they were doing the needful, we would not have found ourselves where we are.
I have given you to Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Are you trying to defend the...
Yes. I'm a member of one of the committee. And as a member, I know that the committee have taken a very serious action in dealing with issues that involve NCC. And that's why I came in the first recommendation. And how can we sanction NCC? Because oftentimes we have brought reports querying NCC for not acting. The question is that, is it the fault of the committee after bringing a report or the fault of the General House?
Yes, sir. It's the fault. Let me come, sir. It's the fault of the committee. As you are doing your oversight, whatever you find on ground, you are supposed to write the report back to the plenary for consideration. Have you done that?
We have done several reports, about 3 or 4.
Have you done that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any report to that effect?
Yes,
before the House?
We have report laid in this House. Severally, sir.
Considered?
Yes, severally. In this report from the Committee on Communication. It is on this ground, Mr. Chairman.
8th Assembly?
No. 9th Assembly. 9th Assembly. We have done 3 in 9th Assembly.
Osai, I want to beg of you. I don't think sitting here as chairman of this who have ever done something like that. I don't think so. And I think we do not need to roll out what we know that is verifiable at the end of the day, and we will not be putting our names into part. I don't want us to do that.
Can we just step the last recommendation, sir?
No, sir.
Just
if you have references.
For benefit of doubt, sir. Since we cannot learn.
So leave your argument. For now, let's carry out the course the way it is.
It's okay, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Lift it. Respected colleagues, the third report to be considered is that of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by Coco Ama Community, Port Harcourt River State. I now invite General Lagboso to give the status of the report.
Thank you, Chairman and colleagues. Mr. Chairman, the case of Kukama is a case of what is source of the Ganda is also source of the goods. Kukama is a community that's distant to LNG, and other communities around there are all beneficiaries of the largesse or benefaction of energy, the section of Kukama. So they brought a report. A petition, we should look into their plight. And what the committee did was to send our 7-man committee to Port Harcourt to embark on what you may call one in the eyes, what two in the ear, to avoid rumor. And they went and discovered that actually what is sourced to other communities around energy should be also sourced to Kukama. And consequently, we recommended that Kukama should be recognized as host community in quote, so that they'll be able to benefit from whatever the energy did to others. That's why I said the case of what is source of the Ganda is also source of the goods, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
That's a good one. I have a different opinion on that. Also came to one of the committees I also served by this honorable house, one of the petroleum committee, and we looked at the distance where a particular, if you are an impacted community within a radius, probably 23 kilometers from the source, and we also discovered that this particular community does not fall within that distance of 23 kilometer radius, which is what they call nautical miles ranged. And we told them clearly that if we are going to persuade the LNG to be able to assuage the opinion, that it will be just the political arrangement, not because you are within the radius upon which you are an impacted community to be given this. But I don't know if we are going to handle this politically. If we want to handle it politically, we could include them to be part and parcel of this. Because when you see light in the other community and you don't see light in this community, it looks strange. But if we are considering, if the House is going to consider it on political consideration, we can. But if we want to do that, these are normal rules within the radius upon which these companies operate, we might be falling out of the point.
Mr. Chairman, aside walking through the map. We went
Intervention, I want to guide us, because already we have an established act on PIA which defines clearly what a host community is. And so, whatever will come through here, if it's not intending with that act, it's like leading to nullity and get an rabbit, if I may use the word. So, possibly, I wouldn't say stop the report, step it down a little bit, so that, because I believe as of the time this petition was laid, PIA wasn't in place. So step it down, have another look at it vis-a-vis what is contained in the PIA Act, and then the reality on ground, then we'll return the report again for further legislative actions. So you still have a little more work to do.
Mr. Chairman, you know, outside this morning has some. I don't think outside worked physically. We're working with MAP. 7-member committee went to Port Harcourt to see this thing for themselves. What outside is talking about is the map. The map probably they brought to him. So I would suggest, sir, and I plead.
With the modern equipments and sciences available, IT, at the comfort here, you can determine the distance between whatever location. So it doesn't. I believe it will not do any harm.
No.
And it will cost us nothing to step down and do further legislative action, so that we'll be sure of what we're doing. This is the integrity of the house we want to protect.
Okay, sorry, Chairman and colleagues. With the instruction of the chairman, I hereby step this further down to enable us make a comparison between what is the act and what is in our recommendations.
Using the scale of the map.
Using not using the scale of the map. And I'm doing that not because of what was said, but because of instructions.
But the House works collectively in a joint participation. So this is posited down by the leave of the House for further legislative action. The next report to be considered is that of the Committee on Public Petition by the petition on the petition by Mrs. Agebe and 2 others on the non-compliance of the implementation of the House resolution of 15 September 2004 by the Federal Housing Authority, now Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. I now invite Honorable Jerry Alagbosun to give the synopsis.
Mr. Chairman, I think there's need for us to separate ourselves from this.
Suspend aside.
Mr. Chairman and colleagues, this petition by Mr. Agbe and 2 others, just about, Mr. Chairman, is a question of aligning ourselves with the resolutions of the 5th Assembly, because a temple does not destroy itself. We found out that the recommendations or the resolution of the 5th Assembly is in tandem with what we do in 9th Assembly. We naturally align ourselves to avoid impunity from those concerned. That's all.
No, you see, sometimes we stand here to bring solution. My solution is that the 5th Assembly, the 6th Assembly, the 7th, 8th Assembly have aligned the same direction. And yet solution was not found. Why was solution not found? One, there was a downsizing because of the economic effect of the organization. And they downsized about 700 and something persons. Now, they retained some. And after 3 years, they also saw that the economic something has not improved and biting. they lay out 3 persons again. And these 3 persons are saying that they didn't lay us off at the time the 770 people were laid off, that it does not follow, and that their own they should be retained. And 5th Assembly, 6th Assembly, 7th Assembly, 8th Assembly, which I also serve, went the same way. The solution has not been found. The workers have not been returned. Don't you think that we could make a compromise way by saying, okay, pay them off without retaining them back? Offset all their salary for these years and retire them effectively. Instead of say, pay them and still retain them. That has not solved a solution. Bring a solution. So I suggest, Mr. Chairman, distinguished honorable colleagues, that the amendment I'm seeking is to defer that these persons that were laid off after 3 years of the original one be paid their entitlement and retired. Pay their entitlement instead of retaining them. That's how I feel that is a solution. Because the House, 5th Assembly, 6th Assembly, 7th Assembly, 8th Assembly has not been able to implement and effect the change, and the people are suffering ongoing continuously. That's my suggestion.
Thank you, Mr. Osai, but I a little bit differ from your own position. First, fairness, equity, and justice is what will give us a true representation as members of this parliament. And where our constituents are treated unjustly, it doesn't mind who is there, what they are doing. What we should stand for is we should stand for justice. The procedure that was deployed in this particular case, was it fair? Was that justice? I think the position of the committee, I want to align with it 100%. And we should rather enforce, maybe if they refuse to do, instead of now compromising our standard, we should look for sanctions to deploy on the agency, to force them to do the right thing. That's my own position. Thank you. Osai, why not? No. The integrity of the House is very, very important in all that we are doing.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Privilege, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I was just having a mental dimensional thinking about the first resolution. By the time this petition came to us, we hadn't committee on host communities. Now that we have committee on host communities, can we refer?
Well, we are not yet there. Allow us to visit this one. Then we can come back to that one. Don't run away from your work. Recommendation 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth report to consider is that of the Committee on Popular Petition on the petition by Mr. Peace Obialo against the University of Nigeria Nsukka on over 3,831,100 naira salary indebtedness to him. I now invite Honorable J.D. Lagboso to give the students the report. Elder.
Mr. Chairman and colleagues, that report, Mr. Chairman, is a case of breach of contract. Peace Obialo did contract for University of Nigeria, Nsukka. And there was controversy, and they set up what they call University Contract Verification Committee. And the University Contract Verification Committee found it satisfactory that the fees must be paid about 3.something million. So the committee looked at the matter and recommended that the Vice Chancellor should be urged to pay the fees of the money, since the University Verification Committee had already said so. In other words, we align with the University Contract Verification Committee, and what they did was a good job. So the committee is recommending that the VC should pay for the interest of peace and harmony. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's just about recommendation. So, recommendation 1. Thank you. Move that revert to plenary to report progress.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable colleagues, I'm Abubakar Samfulata. I represent Berniwa Krika Samaguri Federal Constituency. Mr. Chairman, I'm from Lagos State. Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, I move that the House do revert to plenary to report progress. I so move.
Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, I rise to second the motion by the Chairman, Rules and Business.
I say the boss, they are looking at you, they don't know that that is your second name. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. House is about to invite plenary to report progress. Distinguished and respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered a report on the bill for an act to amend the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria Act number 2, 2019 to extend the tenure of the resolution of the cost fund grant access to the special tribunal established by the BOFIA 2020 and confer on it the power to take possession, manage, preclose or sell, transfer, assign, or otherwise of the asset or profile use as security for eligible bank assets, and for later matter and approved clauses 1 to 5, the long title and the explanatory memoranda of the report. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on the ad hoc committee on the increasing incidence of the swing swap fraud and approved recommendations 1 to 22 of the report. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petition on the petition by Cocoa Ama Community, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, against the Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas Company, and on the criminal neglect and popularization of the Cocoa Ama Ancient Kingdom, and defied the consideration of the report for further legislative actions. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on the Committee on Public Petition on the petition by Mrs. Agebe and 2 others, and on the non-compliance of the implementation of the House resolution of 15 September 2004 by the Federal Housing Authority, now Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, and approved recommendation 1 to 4 of the report. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on the Committee on Public Petition on the petition by Mr. Peace Obialo against the University of Nigeria Nsukka on over 3,831,100 naira salary indebtedness to him, and approved the recommendation of the report therein. Can you move for the adoption of the report?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Samfulata. I represent Berniwa Krika Samaguri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that the House do adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole. I so move.
Deputy Whip. I was going to the narrative. Go ahead.
Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to second the motion moved by the Chairman, Rules and Business. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Don't worry. Move for the adjournment of the House Leader to tomorrow 11 a.m.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I am Comrade Peter Hyozoje Akpatisi. I represent Akoko people. I move that this House do adjourn till tomorrow 11 o'clock in the morning. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Seconder. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Honorable Ibrahim Al-Mustafa Ali, once again, representing Wunura Federal Constituency. I second the motion for adjournment of this Honorable House to tomorrow, as ably moved by the House Leader. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. House is hereby adjourned to tomorrow 11 a.m.